It's been a while since you all have heard from my buddy Kamal Ravikant. He is an author, entrepreneur, soldier, and as he puts it, a guy who just does stuff, and I think does some very cool stuff. His book, which is now out in paperback, and it is a smash bestseller, is Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. Kamal, what's up, my man? How are you?
Buck, it's great to see you, brother. Thanks for having me. Former soldier. Yeah, that was a while ago. I had much shorter hair then.
10th Mountain Division, right?
Yeah, 10th Mountain. I was 11 Bravo infantry soldier. You're going to carry the M203.
Well, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you so much. So let's talk about how we're doing it. You're a guy who you invest in a lot of companies. You've built companies. You've been on the board of different companies. How do we get up and move it? How do we get up and move it again here, man? And how worried are you about small businesses if we're heading into another period of at least quasi lockdown nationally?
Look, man, I think that's my biggest concern. I'm not concerned about Wall Street. I think it's so disconnected from actual reality on Main Street. Just with the Fed printing the dollar. It's when I walk down. I'm currently in San Francisco. When I walk down the street and I see all these restaurants just struggling to survive, these stores struggling to survive. This is the backbone of America, and so much of this is gone because of the big companies. And I don't think these can come back. These small retail shops and restaurants that run on a month, 2 months of runway. And if we don't do something about it, these are not coming back. And that's going to cause a big whiplash effect that I don't know what we're going to do. So we got to figure out a way to open these.
Yeah, we got to open back up. What do you think the long? You're a guy who also does a lot of tech investing and are connected to a lot of people who have been involved in some of the biggest stuff in Silicon Valley. Do you think that the telework, this telecommuting phenomenon that has been of necessity until now for a lot of people, is this going to? Do you think this is going to last? As in, a lot of people that have realized they can work from home and be pretty productive are going to say, "I don't want to go back into an office." And what does that do to the commercial real estate sector and just the economy overall? I mean, I'm asking you to look into the crystal ball, but that's kind of what you do.
Yeah, actually, that's my day job, right? Investing in the future. I would say commercial real estate is going to have a hard time. Everyone I talk to, the companies I invest in, they're realizing just don't need none. They may still have offices, but not the kind that they used to have. And which is a good thing and a bad thing. And also business travel, it's not going to come back the way it used to, man. I used to be on planes a couple of times a month, and now I just don't have a desire to.
I think also there's going to be a sense that there's so much savings that companies can have from doing that Zoom call with a client instead of showing up to some, especially, it's one thing if you're doing dinners and, all that stuff. But if you're really just sitting down in some corporate office somewhere, you fly in, you fly out to sit down, shake hands and stare at someone face to face. Yeah, I think there are some intangibles of that human to human contact. But I feel like a lot of companies are going to look at this and say, hop on a Zoom call. The video is clear. I mean, I can see you as we're doing this. The video is clear. The audio is good. You get a sense of the person and close the business that way. And we don't have to pay to put you up in the Marriott that night.
Honestly, if I was building a company again, that's what I would do. It's better for the bottom line. I remember it's just fundamentally better for the bottom line. It's good business. It's also going to create a lot of new opportunities.
What are the cases for upside that you can make for us, Kamal? I mean, what do you see in the future for the economy, for American workers and businesses that we should be enthusiastic about? I mean, I think people really need, especially before we send them off for their weekend. I want the Kamal case for assuming we reopen, which I know that's unfortunately out of your hands and mine. But assuming we get back to reopen, what is the Kamal case for economic optimism?
Economic optimism. Actually, honestly, I have a bit of pessimism right now.
Put that aside.
For the whole picture. But for an individual, man, look. One thing I've learned in my career in Silicon Valley is there's always opportunity in any market, and usually the best companies, the best ones to bet on, the best things are always founded in down market. You look at Google, you could look at Facebook. That was after the crash of the dot-com boom. And I'm seeing many entrepreneurs who've actually pivoted from what was their livelihood to doing stuff online. And they actually, when they figure it out, what they used to do, but now doing an online version of it, they're making way more money and they're spending time with their families. So I'm seeing people actually start to do that I know personally do better than they were doing before. It's a time for all of us are going to have to evolve with this. It's going to come down to the individual. Like if and things that life has changed and there's not much we can do about that. It's like, but what are we going to do there? So one has to look for the opportunities that are available to them and actually go and create them. And it comes back to the American spirit, the entrepreneurship spirit. You're going to have to create new things. So I'm optimistic for the individual. I'm a little pessimistic for the entire economy.
All right, we'll take that. But tell us, before we let you go, your book, Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It, out in paperback now. You wrote this kind of for yourself and then shared it with other people, and you just put it up on Amazon, and it sold, a gazillion copies. And now it's in paperback and expanded format. Why? People see, they're like, okay, this guy's an entrepreneur, former 10th Mountain Division, involved in investing and all these different aspects of kind of the cutting edge of corporate America. What did people take from this book? Why should folks pick this one up and think that this is going to help them?
Because I'll tell you, it's a self-help book not written by a self-help author. It's a guy who's very practical, and me sharing how I worked on my inner self to actually change myself and change my life, and in a very practical, honest, real way, which is why this book does so well. And it's just about making yourself better using the thing we're wired for, which is love, and giving it to yourself first. Very, very simple. And I think it's successful because it works. And HarperCollins just published it in January, and it's coming out worldwide. And I'm getting emails from people like all over the world, which is amazing. And it's coming out in all these different languages telling me how it's affecting them. And I think for times like this, I'm hearing that, that this book is really needed. So I hope, people read it, get a lot out of it, and apply it.
You're going to have to learn what thank you means or how to say thank you in about 60 different languages, man.
Yeah.
Kamal Ravikant,
awesome.
Everybody. The book is Love Yourself
Brother.
Like Your Life Depends on It. It's on Amazon. Go check it out. I've got a copy. I've read it. Kamal's a dear friend of mine, great guy, and I think the book a lot of you will find very helpful, especially if you're going through a tough time, a challenging time personally. Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. That's the title. Kamal, my man, good to see you. We'll talk soon.
It's a pleasure. Love you, brother.
It's time for roll call.
Yeah, weekend time. It's my dad's birthday this weekend. I want to say happy birthday to my dad, who we'll just say he looks 50, so we'll say it's his 50th birthday, but that would mean that he had me when he was like 12, so that's technically not true. But happy birthday, Dad. You're the greatest. Love you, big guy. And, thanks for teaching me to be a man and not be some little wimpy, evil commie. That comes from Dad. Other great stuff comes from Mom, but don't be a little wimpy commie. Comes from Pops. Okay, let's get to our voicemail roll call. And remember, 844-900-2825, 844-900-BUCK. Producer Mark claims that someone keeps calling in, saying naughty things on the voicemail. Producer Mark, isn't there a way we could block a number or something? How do we do that?
I have no. I wouldn't know his number. I only.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to think of something.
Get one side.
No, it is not true that the president is having an affair with my wife, because I don't have a wife. So the president having an affair with my imaginary wife as this person who keeps calling in saying, I don't know why they think that's happening. That would be fun though. Not fun, but funny, I should say.
that would be fun. I think you're proving his point.
I meant that would be funny if that were actually a thing that we're going on, right? It would be quite a tabloid story. The president's having an affair with conservative talk show host wife. That would turn into a big mess. But I don't have a wife, guys, so we don't have to worry about that. There is no wife. All right, let's get to it. Play it, Producer Mark.
This is Tom from Colorado. I wanted to point out the irony in Mayor Lightfoot's Karen statement. This is the same vain mayor who broke her own stay-at-home order to get a haircut because, I quote, she is the face of Chicago. Well, now the face of Chicago's incompetence in governance resulted in millions of dollars of damage, yet she feels entitled to millions in federal aid. Who is the true Karen in this situation?
Tom? Clearly, Tom from Colorado is not happy with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, and I can understand why. She's doing a very poor job in that city. and does not come across as a look. It doesn't come across as a uniter, that's for sure. Although she is going to allow quote Trump to send in federal law enforcement officers, so there's that. But yeah, I don't know. People have been telling me that the term Karen's been around for a long time. All right, look, I'm not falling on my sword on this, but I don't really care. People want to use Karen. It doesn't upset me, but I just kind of think that it has become a term that people use, and I think I'm iffy. I'm iffy on it. But I'm open to suggestion. I'm not always right, just like 90% of the time, maybe 99. All right, next one, hit it.
Hey guys, it's great to hear a fellow millennial do such a great job. By the way, this is Andy from Cleveland. And on a lighter note, Buck, never apologize for being a soccer fan. I was 6'3", 280. Everyone thought I should play football, played soccer, high school, college, loved every second of it. I would host World Cup parties at 4 a.m. when they were in Japan. So soccer is the greatest sport in the history of the world. So please never apologize for being a soccer fan. Love you guys. Bye.
We love you too, Andy. Thanks, man. Thanks so much. That's yeah. Look, I played soccer all the way up through high school. Was the captain of my high school team in New York, and then coached soccer later on for my high school. So I do secretly kind of love the sport. Did not play in college. Rode crew in college, which was really just an excuse to make myself work out. And then I stopped rowing crew and proceeded to get very cuddly from all of the eating of chicken wings and drinking of beer. But Andy, great to have some Team Buck Cleveland in the house reaching out, and good to know we got some 6'3", 280 folks on Team Buck in case we got to deal with some crazy Antifa when we do the Team Buck barbecue sesh. So there you go. Next one on our audio roll call. Hit it.
Hi, Buck. This is Luann calling from the Red Soviet state of Ohio. And I wanted to ask a real quick question. If masks work so great, why did the virus spread in China? Seeing as that everyone has been masked there for years because of their air pollution. Thanks. God bless you, and keep the faith.
Luann in Ohio. We got another. What's up with Ohio carrying the voicemail load here, folks? You know, I mean, I love Ohio, but what about all of our other wonderful states from Team Buck? Huh? I'm just trying to goad you guys into making more phone calls because producer Mark loves to stay up late at night listening to your voicemails. So, Luann, yeah, look, China. I don't think we can. Probably can't listen to China's numbers on this one. I don't think we know how many people have been infected in China or anything else. So we got to keep an eye on that. And yeah, look, I don't say that masks don't work at all. I think that there's certainly reason to believe, especially if if you're talking to somebody and it's limiting some of the amount of virus you put in the air, it might help. But to think that if only we were wearing masks, this would all go away, that's just crazy. I mean, otherwise, we should segment off, some part of a city and run an experiment where every single person there wears a mask and see if it really is that protective of them. I didn't even talk about this today on the show, but there's a Wall Street Journal piece about how, and look, we don't like to talk about this in America, but this is reality. People keep pointing to Japan. They said, look at how well Japan handled this. We got a lot more health problems than the Japanese population. We just do. We have far more diabetes and obesity and a whole range of, I would guess asthma, although that one I don't know, but a whole range of health concerns that make us much more susceptible as a population, especially among the elderly population, to this disease. So not all, we like to think because, well, I shouldn't say we like to, we're always told by the libs, we've got to pretend like all people are coming from exactly the same health perspective or health background on this. It's just not true. It's just not true. Now, this has nothing to do with blame or anything like that. It's just we got to deal with the reality. In America, we've got a lot more health problems. We live hard here, folks. We're eating a lot of Cheetos and cheeseburgers and drinking some Jack Daniels and ice cream and oh man, that sounds fun. Producer Mark, you getting hungry?
A little bit.
What is your drink of choice? Like if you have to have an adult beverage at a bar, what do you go for? Not beer. Don't say not allowed to say beer.
I'm not allowed to just say beer.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm in like a drink.
I don't really drink hard liquor that often.
I don't think I've had hard liquor I don't know. I maybe had it a couple of times during the entire
Usually
pandemic.
I have to be on vacation to drink hard liquor. If I do it at home, I just feel like I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, well, see, what happens with me is I go on vacation, I go somewhere warm, and I have a daiquiri or two, and I'm like, well, that's a nice, like, 2,000 calories. And then I go into, like, kind of a sugar rush / food coma with the booze swirling around, and I fall asleep in the sun, get too sunburned, and spend 3 days rubbing that green aloe vera on myself indoors. That's what happens.
I learned how much I liked rum when I went to Jamaica for my honeymoon.
Yeah. You should. Producer Mark came back. I was hoping he was going to have one of those little, like, the beads in his hair.
I don't have enough hair to get braided.
Well, you know, when Michael Scott came back from Sandals in the office, and he had the little beads that they will, I don't know what they call that, but when they bead your hair, I guess.
When they braid your hair.
Is it braiding? Yeah. But when guys come back like, yeah, I was just in Turks and Caicos and now I've got braided hair. Yeah, it is what it is. All right. Let's see. Oh, we got another. Hit it, Producer Mark. Go for it.
Hi, this is Jane in Clifton Park, New York. I am sitting here listening to the show about you guys and who Buck wants to have play him in a movie. You guys, we rarely hear Producer Mark laugh right out loud. You guys are so perfect together. Your show is awesome. You are the voice of reason, and you have intelligence. How about that? So we're still rooting for you to go to Del Rey. And I have friends who just moved to Austin, and they are trying to get out and leave as soon as they can. So shields high, guys, and stay who you are, because you guys are awesome. Thanks very much. Bye.
See, Producer Mark, Jane made the whole voicemail box experience worthwhile in one message.
Yes, she did compliment us.
Yes. Well, she just liked that you called me Fat Thor.
I mean, that is arguably my best line ever.
Probably. All right, now did we go through all the voicemails for today, Mark?
We did.
Okay. Well, if everyone wants to send more, please do. Call in 844-900-2825, 844-900-BUCK. And also, remember, please go to bucksexton.com. Our site is growing and growing and growing every month. But we really want more and more folks to go there. The more we see you there, the more we'll write. Oh, I got to get the T-shirt stuff going. I forgot about that. But I got a lot of projects, a lot of things happening. A lot of things going on. Now let's get to what we've got today in the roll call box. TeamBuck@iHeartMedia.com is the email address, and Facebook.com/BuckSexton. If you're on Instagram, especially if you're like the Team Buck under 50 and you're on Instagram, please follow me, Buck Sexton. We're doing more stuff there, more posts there. I'll do Instagram lives. I don't want to keep using Tallulah all the time in Instagram lives, because then you guys are going to see my face and be like, we don't care about you. Where's the cute dog? But for now, I will be shameless.
Say interesting things, and then you won't need the dog.
Yeah, I suppose. For now, I will be shameless and continue to have Tallulah. So yeah, there we go. She's very helpful, all that stuff. Roll call from Wade. First up. Has anyone given any thought to Biden being a red herring? He's always being referred to as the presumptive nominee. What if they pull an October surprise and trot out someone more competent to run under the guise of Biden being suddenly unfit? The substitute could run with the benefit of not being thoroughly examined by our side. Wade, I appreciate your thinking I appreciate your thinking outside the box. I don't think they'll do that because that's too risky. And I think I think that they realize they can get Biden elected even though he is who he is. It doesn't matter. They're just using the sheer muscle of the media, the Democrat Party, and the mobilization of the left to push this whole thing through. No one even thinks, what does Biden even stand for? Nobody knows. Doesn't matter. Yeah, here I am. I sort of yell and, I'll beat Trump in a push-up contest, and I kind of just, yeah, man. I mean, Joe Biden. Yeah, that's where it is. I was just curious. I just did a quick Google of red herring. According to mentalfloss.com, this is one I don't know. The actual origin of the phrase is traced back to the early 1800s. Around this time, English journalist William Cobbett wrote a presumably fictional story about how he had used red herring as a boy to throw hounds off the scent of a hare. Did you know that, Producer Mark?
No, I did not.
I did not know that one. So it all comes from a story where
I thought you know everything.
A guy used smelly fish to throw dogs off the scent of something. Interesting. A distraction. All right, Q. Not to be confused with QAnon, which is being taken off the internet all the time now. I'm always amazed. People reach out to me like, Buck, explain Q to me. And I'm like, what? Why do I know about this? People always ask me, like, am I a part of the QAnon conspiracy in some way, folks? I don't know anything about this. Like, I get emails sometimes. Buck, explain Q. He's the guy in the James Bond movies who makes the gadgets. Q, different Q, writes in, hello, Buck. Unfortunately, I must take issue with your position on Karens. Oh, yeah, no, I saw this one. Before I was a truck driver hauling goods all around this country, I spent 30 years working in restaurants. The name Karen has been used by restaurant workers for decades to describe the suburban mom dragging unruly children into a restaurant who is never satisfied, always needs to speak to a manager, and doesn't tip well. The name is not specific to a certain color or political bent, but certain behaviors in a restaurant setting. Now it has been usurped. I'm open to suggestions as to what to call them, but until a good one comes along, I'm sticking with Karen. No offense to the non-Karen Karens. Shields high and roll on. Q, I didn't know any of that. So, Mark, had you ever heard that before?
Yeah, I think it's always kind of been suburban housewife, but it doesn't necessarily matter what race or political creed is. It's just a snobby person.
Yeah, I think, whenever someone says, can I speak to your manager in a way that's threatening, 9 times out of 10, they're being jerks. Not 10 out of 10. Once or twice in my life, I've had to be like at a restaurant, we got to take this up the chain when something really egregious has happened. But 9 times out of 10, if you say, of course, when I say, not can I speak to the manager, I have a return I want to process. I don't mean that. I'm talking about when people use can I speak to the manager as I might be going after your job now, so I hope you're on edge about it. And I've seen it. I saw a woman in a grocery store near me recently go in and say, and she did the can I speak to the manager? And then she started complaining about how there's no security in the grocery store. And the guy was looking at her like, what? It's not a bank. And he didn't say that, of course, but I could tell he's looking at her like, what's your problem, lady? Because she said she had an argument waiting in line about a guy who wasn't social distancing enough. So you're seeing a lot of those kinds of arguments pop up these days. She's like, where is your security? Why isn't there security in here? And he was like, because we're a grocery store and we don't pay someone to stand and make sure that people aren't stealing roast chickens or something. I mean, what do you want me to do, lady? Like, we got employees. We work here. That's all we got. Where is your security? All of a sudden, Hillary broke in. Ha-ha! I will steal your turkeys.
Hillary doesn't grocery shop for herself.
Of course not, dude. Of course not. She doesn't.
You barely grocery shop for yourself.
Oh, that's nonsense. I love the grocery store.
Oh, come on. Before the pandemic, you used to do the online services.
Oh, yeah, when it was easy to get that. Yeah, I love the grocery delivery. I'm not going to lie. I cannot tell a lie to this audience. They'll send the groceries right to your door. That's always fun. But I do like sometimes being in the store when there's a good meat selection. I like the butcher counter. That's where and actually the seafood counter too. And I feel like you don't get the same stuff when you order it online. Like they'll give you whatever they give you. I do like to pick when it comes to my proteins. So there's that. But yeah, fair point. Delivery services are good. Jake. Guys, you're causing a nuisance with today's roll call. It's interrupting my workout and those around me. I am LOLing obnoxiously. Seriously, Fat Thor, Kung Fu Fauci, the hamster digression. Hilarious. Love you guys. Keep it up. Shields high. Well, Jake, we're sorry if we interrupted your workout, but we're glad we amused you. That was certainly our intent. And I got to say, I don't even remember Kung Fu Fauci. What did I do what was Kung Fu Fauci?
You were doing an impression of Fauci doing Kung Fu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds... Everybody was Kung Fu Fauci. Like that.
Something like that,
yeah. James, Mega Dittos, love your show, and I have passed the buck to quite a few friends here in the Texas Panhandle as you requested. James, who shares my first name. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. People who pass the buck do me a great honor and make sure that producer Mark and I can still buy groceries. So thank you. It is very, very helpful to us. And just think of it like if you get them listening to the show, then when producer Mark says something particularly funny and surly, now you guys will have, you and your friends who listen to the show will have a point of commonality, and you could even borrow some of Mark's commentary for your own, your own purposes. So there you go. Everybody wins. Oh, he's got a question, though. My roll call question, observation, is what happened to Project Exile? It was something cooked up in the 90s, I think, to curb gun violence. Minimum 10 years added for gun crimes. It worked fabulously until the left freaked out and dismantled it in several states. Not sure if it was federal or just a recommendation to the states. I believe if it was in use, gun crimes would largely disappear. I'm Googling this in real time. I've never even heard of this. If you catch a criminal in Richmond with a gun in a crime, the criminal has forfeited his right to remain in the community. The immediate federal prosecution and stiff mandatory federal sentences of 5 years, exiled to the, this is a real thing. Project Exile, U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Virginia. Interesting. I had actually never heard of this before. So thank you for, law enforcement marks 21 years of Project Exile in Rochester. Yeah, this is a thing. Well, it's basically stiff sentencing, federal sentences for people that are going to use gun crimes to commit violence. So I certainly can understand how that is what it is. And, thank you for bringing it to my attention. Felicia! Buck, you're talking about the Cuomo mandates on restaurants. Please include the bars and pubs. Many bars in New York don't serve food. They don't even have kitchens. This mandate is demanding bars serve substantial food also. These bars cannot serve food from other restaurants either. It has to be prepared and offered from the bars. So how does that happen? They've been closed for over 4 months now. No kitchens. This is total insanity. Felicia, you're totally right. I want to make sure we also include in the people we're trying to help, and we need to get back to their business and their work, their livelihoods, bars and pubs. In New York, I know there are bars that do not serve food, and they are totally shut down as a result of all this. And it's just madness. It's just madness. We've got to reopen this stuff. We've got to do it. But politicians don't want to take the risks, and Democrats don't want things to improve. So those are two very powerful reasons for there not to be a reopening. So, Felicia, stand strong, shields high. Hopefully we'll get back to it and things will get better. I'm hopeful. Jar, in regards to federal law enforcement officers and their effectiveness, my department's 800-plus officer SWAT team is more effective and experienced than the regional FBI SWAT team. We regularly serve warrants for FBI, ATF, and DEA. I wouldn't be surprised if the same holds true in many larger departments. That being said, the feds are up to the task, no doubt. Yeah, Jar, I didn't mean to compare every, obviously there's going to be local law enforcement that has more elite units than some of the federal law enforcement units. I just meant that the training and equipment budgets of federal agencies, generally speaking, is going to be much larger than the local law enforcement budgets will be, just because federal versus local, that's the way it is. In my own experience, just even the healthcare I had when I worked at the CIA versus the healthcare I had when I worked at the NYPD, it was like going from a mansion to a shack in the woods, and it was just a function of money. So that being said, Jar, keep up the good work. Tell your brothers and sisters out there and your SWAT team, thank you for what they're doing. Oh, man, I'm going to be off on Monday, team. I want you to know that in advance because I'm going away with the family for my dad's birthday for the weekend. So we are going to have my man Mike Slater. You probably know Mike Slater if you know the first. He is a great host out in San Diego. And he is going to be taking over my show on Monday. He's going to be running the Freedom Hut. Really nice guy, really good guy. So certainly worth your time to tune in and listen. But I'm going to be out Monday. Planned vacation. Just want you all to know that. So that's just a heads up on the logistics there. I need a long weekend. It's been a long 6 months or so of pandemic content production, and I definitely am looking forward to the weekend. I'll be with the family, so that's where I'm at. I'm gonna be if I wasn't Fat Thor before, I'm gonna be at the end of this weekend. Just gonna lie around, read, eat a lot. That is the plan. Michael, next up here on Roll Call. Buck, with the president retweeting you so much, the Dems are going to put a target on your back, but not to worry, because we all hold our shields high with you. Well, Michael, that's why shields high is so important. We all got to do it for ourselves and do it for other good people out there, good patriots. We got to take care of each other. Yeah, I've had crazy libs in my mentions like you wouldn't believe the last couple of days, because eight retweets from the president in a row. It's like the president's Twitter is your Twitter for that morning. And yeah, it has been interesting. One of the guys from one of the Law and Order spinoffs is like, yeah, blah blah blah, politics. I was like, look, no one's writing your lines now, doofus. I don't need to hear it from you. I can't remember that guy. It's one of those guys. Anyway, actors. I swear. Oh, sometimes the only people dumber than TV news anchors, for the most part, are actors. John, shields high, real news fan. It only makes sense for all the Democrats and media to keep pushing mask wearing and lockouts to play on people's fears so they won't go to very public places and vote in November. It'll be interesting to see how quickly the masks and lockouts vanish the day after Trump is reelected. None of us should be shocked to see the lengths they will go to get their ways. Commie Bear lives. Yeah, I do think it's true that their plan down the line is going to be very obvious when they let us all out. You know, I do think that's the case. So it'll be right after the election, and there'll be a big exhalation if from their side if Biden wins, and all of a sudden we'll be able to have a real conversation about opening the country again. Mark writes, this is on Instagram now. Remember, follow me on Instagram at Buck Sexton if you want to see Toulouse videos and fun things like that. Mr. Buck, you're awesome. I listen every night when I drive. I drive a tractor trailer for UPS from Fresno, California to Ontario, California every night. You keep me sane and awake. Shields high, brother. Keep up the great work. Mark, honored to keep you company while you do that important work, my friend. Thank you for what you do, making sure that logistics, as we know, amateurs talk strategy. Professionals talk logistics, making sure that logistics keep on flowing, people can get their stuff, businesses can thrive. Thank you so much, Mark. Shields high to you. Anthony writes in, Buck, I listen to your show every night. I'm a cop in upstate New York who works 1600 to 0000. I make my trainee listen too. Good. Anthony is forcing the passage of the buck to his trainee. Thanks so much for writing in, man. And he says, keep fighting the good fight. Anthony, I appreciate it, brother. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Tom writes in, your dog reminds me of a cat. Okay, well, my dog is a dog. So, there. How about that? Randy writes, love the pics of Toulouse. Thank you. Yeah, man, I think that there will be some additional pics of Toulouse. So, got to follow me on the gram. Sean writes, please run for office. Sean, I have too much fun in the Freedom Hut, and what is producer Mark going to do? He doesn't want to be a press secretary. That's going to be annoying for him. He's going to have to actually get out of his pajamas to do his job. That's going to be the show for everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great weekend. I'll be back with you Tuesday. Shields high.